When the universe decides to balance its scales, no throne survives the storm. Those who once built traps for you now find themselves tangled in the very webs they spun. Life has a flawless sense of irony. It never lets arrogance go unpaid. Every crown they tried to throw in your path to trip you became a stepping stone beneath your feet. That's the law of cosmic balance. It doesn't ask for witnesses, it simply delivers. The same critics who mocked your silence are now haunted by the echo of your success. Their whispers dissolve into background noise while your name turns into thunder. The universe doesn't forget who tried to block its chosen ones. Every attempt to break you became the proof of your strength. Every rumor they crafted turned into free publicity for your rise. It's poetic justice disguised as coincidence. The more they plot, the faster their own foundations crack. You didn't have to retaliate. The universe handled the symmetry. That's the beauty of being chosen. Your presence alone becomes their mirror, showing them everything they tried to hide from themselves. So while they study your downfall, you're already rewriting the rules. You've become the calm before every storm, the silence that rattles insecure hearts. Remember this, balance always collects its debt, and your success is its favorite form of repayment. If you're one of the chosen ones watching this, like and subscribe, because your era of divine equilibrium has already begun. Before we dive into the next phase, pause for a second. You're not here by accident. The timing of this moment is too precise, too aligned. You've been feeling the shift, that quiet pressure before everything changes. The same people who tried to throw thorns in your path are about to watch those thorns bloom into your garden. Their moves only sharpened your focus. Their whispers only built your momentum. That's what happens when the chosen ones stay unbothered. The game bends in their favor. If you can feel that energy rising, don't scroll past it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop the number 99 in the comments, not as superstition, but as a signal that you're part of this movement. Every action you take here tells the algorithm and the universe that you're claiming your next level. Stay with this video until the end, because by the time we're done, you won't see yourself the same way again. Number 1. Stop downplaying your power before the world does it for you. Picture this. The storm doesn't announce itself before it hits. It just arrives, calm-faced, unstoppable, unapologetic. That's the kind of energy you're walking into now. You're not fighting for anyone's throne. You're dismantling the entire idea that someone could ever sit above you. You've carried the peacekeeper's burden for too long, swallowing words, biting back truth, wearing patience like armor. But that quiet, composed restraint, it's starting to crack. And what's coming through isn't rage, it's clarity. For months, maybe years, you've been holding on to things that no longer align with who you've become. Half-fulfilled promises, one-sided loyalty, situations that feed off your silence. You've been pretending not to see the imbalance, trying to keep everything stable. But here's the truth no one talks about. Even peace has boundaries. Even the ocean reaches a limit before it turns into a wave that reclaims everything it once allowed. That's you right now, still calm, but done absorbing what was never yours to carry. It's time to speak, not loudly, not emotionally, but with precision that cuts through confusion like lightning through fog. You don't need to roar to be heard. You just need to stop shrinking when the truth knocks at your door. You're not being cruel, you're being accurate. The version of you that apologized for existing too boldly is gone. You've entered a new era where honesty is your calm weapon and boundaries are your peace treaty. Understand this. People have mistaken your silence for infinity. They thought your tolerance was bottomless, your empathy endless. They confused your patience with weakness because they never saw the day you'd choose yourself. But here it is, the reveal. The quiet evolution that no one saw coming because you outgrew their predictions. The ones who pushed, poked, and underestimated you are about to meet the side of you they swore didn't exist. The one who stands firm, unbothered, and completely unmoved by guilt. You used to overextend for the sake of keeping harmony, bending until it hurt just to prove you were kind. Now you've learned that real kindness has boundaries. Real compassion includes yourself. This isn't a revenge story, it's a rebalancing act. You are no longer cushioning your truth to make fragile egos comfortable. You're no longer performing softness for people who mistake gentleness for permission. And here's the twist that will haunt them. Every time they tried to break you, they only trained you. Every attempt to embarrass you sharpened your discernment. Every betrayal raised your threshold for nonsense. You became the storm they created by underestimating your calm. You became the silence that unsettles every room because it carries unspoken power. So when you finally speak, the world listens differently. Because this time your words don't beg to be believed, they declare reality. You're not chasing validation anymore. You are validation. The balance has shifted, and this version of you doesn't flinch. Number 2. Don't fight for thrones you never wanted. Protect the peace you built. They mistook your silence for weakness, your peace for surrender, your calm for lack of power. But the truth is, you never wanted their throne. You were too busy building your own empire in silence. Chosen ones don't crave crowns, they create order. You didn't need to sit higher than anyone. You simply needed the space to breathe freely, to build without noise, to exist without interference. But peace, it turns out, threatens the insecure. Your refusal to compete confused them. Your detachment exposed their obsession with control. They were fighting invisible wars while you were mastering your own reflection. When they tried to drag you into chaos, you didn't flinch. You stood there, steady, not because you couldn't fight, but because you understood something they didn't. Power that must be proven isn't real power. You saw their games, the subtle sabotage, the whispers designed to shake your foundation, and you realized they were never your enemies. They were your proof. Proof that you've evolved beyond needing validation. Proof that peace itself is the loudest statement you can make in a world addicted to noise. Now, every time they reach for your peace, they burn themselves on it. They're learning that your boundaries aren't barriers, they're warning signs. You're not in competition, you're in command. The irony? The more they try to dethrone you, the more the universe exposes their desperation. Thrones built from ego collapse fast. Peace built from discipline lasts forever. So don't fight for thrones you never asked for. Protect your peace like it's the rarest treasure on earth, because it is. That's the twist they never saw coming. Your calm was never compliance, it was control. You don't chase crowns, you set kingdoms in order just by standing still. Number 3. Quit self-sacrificing for everyone else and start choosing you. There comes a moment when the chosen ones stop mistaking exhaustion for purpose. You've spent years being everyone's anchor, holding chaos still while they rebuilt their comfort on your patience. You called it loyalty, but deep down, it was survival. You thought if you gave enough, if you kept showing up, people would finally recognize your worth. But the truth? They got comfortable watching you drown quietly, just so their boats wouldn't rock. That ends now. You're not here to keep patching other people's holes while your own ship sinks. You've carried too many responsibilities that were never yours to begin with. Emotional debts, unspoken expectations, endless second chances. You became the glue that held everything together, but nobody noticed the cost. Now, the glue is melting, and it's supposed to. You're realizing that being selfless without boundaries isn't noble. It's self-erasure. When you start choosing yourself, the same people who benefited from your sacrifices will call you selfish. Let them. That word only sounds ugly to those who profited from your lack of it. You're not withdrawing love, you're redirecting it. You're investing it back into the one person who's proven loyal through every storm, you. The moment you stop overgiving, you disrupt entire patterns. Suddenly, the takers feel the void they used to fill with your time, your energy, your care. Let them feel it. That's how balance restores itself. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding for those who never learned to heal themselves. You're not walking away bitter. You're walking away balanced. The chosen ones don't abandon others. They reclaim themselves. This is your pivot point, from self-sacrifice to self-respect. The era of depletion is over. The era of deliberate peace has begun. Number 4. Being nice is draining you. Get comfortable. Being firm, not cruel. Being nice was supposed to make things easier, but for you, it became the trap. You've spent so long softening your words, adjusting your tone, and packaging truth in gentle wrapping so nobody would flinch. But niceness, when forced, is a slow poison. It drains your power drip by drip until your spirit starts whispering, enough. The people around you got used to your yes, addicted to your calm, convinced that you'd rather bend than break. But they forgot one thing. Chosen ones bend strategically. They never break. You've reached that moment where politeness no longer feels pure. It feels like silence dressed as peace. Every time you swallowed discomfort to keep the harmony, the universe took note. Every fake smile became a debt that life now demands be paid in truth. And now, the payment is due. This is your reclamation arc. You're not becoming cruel, you're becoming clear. There's a difference between being kind and being compliant. You can care deeply and still say no. You can love people and still draw lines. You can wish the best for everyone and still refuse to be their cushion. Firmness isn't the absence of empathy. It's the boundary that protects it. When you stop cushioning everyone else's comfort, they'll say you've changed. Good. Let them. Growth is supposed to make the wrong people uncomfortable. Your new firmness will confuse those who fed off your hesitation. Let it. Because this version of you doesn't chase approval, it commands respect by existing. You're not the soft-hearted fixer anymore. You're the mirror that shows others their limits. You don't raise your voice, you raise your standards. And that's what puts them in the hot seat. The era of being nice is over. The era of being necessary has begun. Number 5. They called you the villain because they feared your boundaries. They called you the villain because they couldn't stand to see you evolve beyond their control. The moment you stopped over-explaining, over-giving, and over-justifying, the narrative flipped. Suddenly, you became the problem. That's the irony of being chosen. When your silence stops serving their comfort, they start whispering arrogance. When your peace stops including their chaos, they start calling it coldness. But let's get something straight. You didn't turn dark, you just stopped dimming your light for people addicted to the shadows. They built their stories around your submission. They liked you better when you were the one apologizing for your own worth, the one shrinking so they could shine. The moment you chose boundaries over people-pleasing, the game reset. You became the mirror they didn't want to look into, because your growth exposes everything they've refused to confront in themselves. That's why they talk. That's why they twist. Because deep down, they know your boundaries are the proof that you've leveled up. Villain? Fine. Let them say it. The greatest characters in every story were misunderstood first, not because they were cruel, but because they stopped playing by rules that were never meant for them. You stopped being accessible to every vibration that demanded your energy for free. You stopped rescuing people from lessons they needed to learn on their own. That isn't villainy, that's evolution. So when they paint you as the bad guy, remember, their labels don't define you, their limits do. They feared your boundaries because your peace exposes their dependency. You are not their enemy. You're their wake-up call. You're the plot twist they never saw coming. The one that proves being misunderstood is just the tax you pay for being unshakable. Number 6. Balance isn't found, it's engineered. Build your second chapter on purpose. ChatGPT said, balance isn't something that magically arrives one morning wrapped in calm and clarity. It's built brick by those who've already tasted chaos and refused to stay there. You, the chosen one, didn't stumble into peace. You constructed it while the world threw distractions at you like confetti. People think balance means stillness, but for you, it means precision. It means knowing when to move and when to stay silent, when to give and when to withdraw. You've lived both extremes, the overgiver and the undervalued, the peacemaker and the storm, and now you're done living in the swing. You're building the center. Your second chapter isn't about revenge or validation, it's about design. Every habit, every boundary, every no you say from this point forward is architecture. You're not waiting for life to hand you peace. You're blueprinting it. You've learned that balance isn't a vibe, it's a system. You control what enters your space, what consumes your energy, and who earns your proximity. No more free access passes to chaos. No more maybe later for what drains you. People who used to take advantage of your openness are watching you pour concrete around your standards, realizing the gate they walked through freely is now sealed tight. That's not cruelty, that's structure. You're not improvising anymore, you're constructing longevity. You've become the engineer of your emotional gravity, and everything unstable is falling away because it doesn't fit your design. This is the part of your story where balance stops being a dream and becomes a blueprint. You're not just surviving anymore, you're building something that lasts. And the beauty of it, they can't copy it because no one else knows the math behind your calm. Number 7. Stop excusing broken promises and demand real follow-through. Chosen one, let's be real. You've spent too long giving people credit for intentions that never turned into actions. You believed words when they sounded good, even when consistency never showed up to back them. You accepted I meant to, I got busy, next time. But now you see it, empty promises are a soft form of disrespect. They chip away at your peace, not with noise, but with subtle erosion. That ends here. You've entered an era where talk is cheap and execution is currency. You're not impressed by effort that never crosses the finish line. You're no longer handing out forgiveness for what should have been basic respect. The ones who said they'd show up but didn't, they've revealed everything you needed to know, not about your worth, but about their capacity. You're no longer lowering your standards to fit anyone's inconsistency. You are the audit, the quality control, the final checkpoint. You're not angry, you're just awake. You've realized that reliability isn't too much to ask. It's the minimum. The days of making excuses for people who drain your energy with half-done promises are over. From this point on, access is earned through completion. No follow-through, no entry. When you demand consistency, it shakes those who built comfort on your lenience. They'll call you cold because they can no longer manipulate your patience. But you're not cold, you're clear. You're not cruel. You're done pretending confusion exists where patterns already expose the truth. The chosen ones don't chase apologies or explanations anymore. We track patterns, not words, and when the pattern breaks, so does the access. Remember this, unfinished promises are broken trust in disguise, and you're too aligned to keep patching cracks that others refuse to seal. Number 8. Don't argue for respect. State facts calmly and let silence do the work. When you're a chosen one, you eventually learn that real power doesn't shout, it stands still. The moment you stop arguing for respect, the entire dynamic shifts. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. Your results already did that. The ones who used to talk over you, question your intentions, or twist your words are now realizing silence can be more intimidating than anger. Because silence backed by truth isn't passive. It's surgical. It cuts through illusion without needing a single raised voice. You've already spent too many chapters explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. That season is over. Now, when disrespect shows up, you respond with evidence, not emotion. You don't yell. You don't defend. You just state the facts, then let the quiet finish the conversation. It's in that silence that people feel the weight of their own behavior. It's the sound of accountability echoing back at them. And here's the part that catches them off guard. Your composure is terrifying. They expected a reaction, a breakdown, a show, but you gave them stillness. You gave them the power of someone who's already decided that arguing is beneath their new frequency. When you move like that, you don't need validation. You become the standard that others are forced to adjust to. This is the moment where calm becomes your armor, where logic becomes your shield. You're not cold, you're collected. You're not distant, you're decisive. Your silence doesn't mean surrender, it means strategy. The chosen ones know respect isn't demanded through volume, it's earned through control. So let your peace speak louder than your pride. Let your silence remind them that once you stop explaining, the lesson begins. Number 9. Walk away without a speech. Your absence is the lesson. There comes a point when words lose their value, when explanations become noise, and the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. That's where you are now, at the quiet crossroads where presence turns into proof and absence becomes the final statement. You've already given chances, clarity, understanding. You've shown consistency while others mistook your patience for permission. But now, your silence is the headline. Your withdrawal is the consequence. Chosen one, your energy used to fill every gap. You were the glue that held chaos together, the uncredited stabilizer in everyone else's story. And what did they do? They got comfortable in your reliability, assuming you'd never walk away. But here's the twist. You don't announce departures anymore. You just go. You let the void speak in your place. Because when the glue leaves, the cracks show. When the steady hand pulls back, the whole illusion collapses. Let them feel what absence truly means. Let them replay every ignored boundary, every moment they thought you'd tolerate one more disrespect. Your silence will echo louder than any confrontation could. That's the power of a chosen one. You don't chase closure, you become closure. Your calm departure teaches what your kindness couldn't. People will call it sudden, cold, unexpected, but the truth is, you've been detaching for a while, quietly, methodically, without anger, just acceptance. You learned that disappearing isn't cruel when it's deserved. It's balance, it's cause-meeting effect. So walk away without warning, without guilt, without need for applause. Let your absence rearrange their priorities. Because one day they'll realize that losing access to your energy wasn't punishment. It was the universe showing them what happens when they mistake gold for dust. Number 10. When betrayal hits, alchemize it. Turn their chaos into your power source. When betrayal hits, it doesn't just bruise, it rewires you. The chosen ones know this better than anyone. Every lie, every fake smile, every silent knife in the back, those aren't endings, they're ingredients. You take what was meant to destroy you and refine it until it burns clean. Their chaos becomes your power source, their envy becomes your motivation, and their manipulation becomes your blueprint for control. You don't crumble under betrayal, you distill it. You extract its energy, study its chemistry, and use it to build a stronger version of yourself they'll never recognize. What they don't realize is that every time they tried to poison your peace, they were actually feeding your evolution. Their gossip gave you focus. Their plots forced you to strategize. Their absence gave you silence. And silence gave you clarity. That's the twisted perfection of balance. The same people who tried to break you unknowingly built you. The same chaos they unleashed now fuels your next level. Betrayal was never a curse. It was an initiation. It taught you how to be your own source of validation, your own supplier of strength. They wanted to dim your light, but they only taught you how to glow without electricity. Every disappointment became data, every heartbreak a formula. You learned how to transmute pain into momentum, not through revenge, but through mastery. And now, when they look at you, they don't see the person they once deceived. They see the alchemist, the one who turned ashes into armor and silence into command. So let them talk. Let them plot again. You'll keep twisting their chaos into fuel while they drown in their own smoke. That's what chosen ones do. They turn betrayal into power with surgical precision. Number 11. Refuse to be gaslit again. Proof, boundaries, and probation are protection. They thought you'd forget, that you'd question your own memory, that you'd second-guess what you saw, what you felt, what you knew. But that version of you, the one who gave people endless benefit of the doubt, no longer exists. You've learned that gaslighting only works on those desperate to keep the peace. You're not that person anymore. You don't beg for clarity. You are clarity. Every time someone twists a story, you hold the mirror steady until their own reflection betrays them. This new era of you runs on evidence, not emotion. You've got receipts, mental, digital, energetic. You've seen too much, and you won't be convinced otherwise. When words and actions don't align, you believe the behavior, not the apology. That's your new policy. Because proof doesn't argue, it simply reveals. And you've mastered the art of letting reality speak louder than explanations ever could. Boundaries are no longer suggestions. They're the infrastructure that protects your peace. You don't raise your voice, you raise your standards. You don't explain the same truth twice. You don't negotiate respect. Those who once mistook your forgiveness for forgetfulness are now realizing you keep track, not to punish, but to protect. Probation exists now, and not everyone earns reinstatement. The chosen ones don't chase validation, they enforce accountability. When someone breaks trust, they don't get blocked out of anger, they get benched by consequence. You're not cruel for expecting consistency, you're wise for requiring it. The truth is simple. If they wanted access, they should have honored the privilege. Let them talk, twist, and test. You'll keep doing what you do best, moving in silence with the calm power of someone who can't be fooled twice. You are the proof. You are the standard. And this time, no one rewrites your reality but you. Number 12. Cut the cords, keep the lessons, and rise without looking back. There comes a point where holding on becomes heavier than letting go. You've reached that point, chosen one. The cords that once connected you to certain people, habits, or versions of yourself have started to drain instead of sustain. And here's the truth. Not every connection deserves repair. Some were lessons dressed as loyalty. Some were chapters that only made sense until you outgrew their plot. You've spent enough time trying to fix what was meant to end. Now it's time to cut, release, and rise, not in anger, but in alignment. When you cut cords, you're not erasing history. You're keeping the wisdom, not the weight. You're walking away lighter, sharper, clearer. The memories that used to sting now serve as instruction manuals. Every disappointment taught you how to read energy before words. Every betrayal refined your boundaries. Every loss polished your focus. You've learned what peace costs. and you're done negotiating discounts on your own worth. People will try to re-enter your life once they feel your absence shaking their comfort, but the door they once used no longer exists. You've remodeled your spirit, reinforced your energy, and upgraded the locks. There's no revenge here, only closure through elevation. You don't need them to see your glow, their confusion is confirmation enough. From this point forward, your rise is quiet, but undeniable. No explanations, no replays, just forward motion. Every step you take now is powered by freedom, not fear. The ones who once drained you will watch you thrive from a distance, realizing too late that you were the stability they mistook for softness. You don't look back anymore because what's ahead finally matches your power. And that's the ultimate plot twist. Your peace became your revenge. And this is where it all comes full circle. Every test, every betrayal, every quiet rebuild, it all led here. You've cut the cords, reclaimed your energy, and stepped into a version of yourself that no one can dilute again. From this point on, your rise won't need validation. It will speak for itself. You've earned this silence, this focus, this power. Those who doubted you will have no choice but to watch you win from the sidelines. If this message hit home, don't just feel it, act on it. Hit like, subscribe, and drop 99 in the comments to align with other chosen ones walking this same path. Your story isn't ending, it's only beginning.